Throughout history, mankind has always had monsters in its path. That could be human ones, even mythic ones, such as the Loch Ness Monster or the Odyssey's Cyclops. Today, I'm going to tell you about a monster that is probably the 21st century's most dangerous obstacle. That monster is global warming. Climate change is the boogeyman that has been coming for years. Scientists have been warning about climate change for decades. And it's only until relatively recently that any action has been taking place to try and negate it. Now, in an ideal world where we can fight climate change and win, it's going to look like this. Cool polar bears chilling in their natural habitat. But sadly, it's most likely going to end up like this if we lose the fight. This picture was taken about a year ago. This is very recent. This is what happens if we don't put in the fight and we don't convince our world leaders to take more action against climate change. According to Codasova, none of the world's major economies and the world's major superpowers who signed the 2015 Paris Agreement have met their obligations at all. None at all. Now, I got this slide from CAT, or the Climate Action Tracker. Now, according to this graph, the United States is right here. We're doing okay. We're about a C. The top country in the world, and there's only one country that's met its requirement, is Gambia. And you got other world leaders and major powers, such as China and Russia, being subpar at best. Now, this is the main problem. Our countries are not doing enough to help fight against climate change. According to NEAR of the European Parliament, we already have a feasible plan to fight climate change. The problem is, not enough countries are pushing it their all to achieve that plan. That plan is to try and have countries become carbon neutral. Now, carbon neutral, or carbon neutrality, is when a country offsets its carbon emissions by planting trees or producing less livestock. Anything that produces carbon or offsets it or absorbs it, put more of. So the emissions are negated by the carbon absorption in that country. That is the best way to fight climate change. Now, the United States, according to the National Academy, has a net zero emissions of around 60 gigatons. We need to be able to become carbon neutral 0.2 or lessen our carbon emissions by 0.2 gigatons of CO2 per year. It would take about 30 years to accomplish this. Is it going to be difficult? Of course. Is it feasible? It is feasible. It's possible. But it's going to take all of our hard work in order to achieve that. Now, I want my grandchildren to be able to visit a forest or a national park, or maybe even a coral reef one day. Who knows? But I fear that at the rate we're going, The world is simply leading to its demise, and they're going to live in a world full of fog and soup, as you see in the picture right here. I don't want my world to end up barren and a husk of its former self. And it takes the action of all of us to fight against climate change. A famous quote by Dr. Seuss, and one of my favorite books, The Lorax. Unless someone like you cares a whole lot, an awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's simply not. It takes all of us to help fight climate change. And if we cannot fight climate change, our world is doomed. We must make our leaders step up to the challenge and force their hand into improving the scales on which we achieve carbon neutrality. We need to personally stop and do the little steps. Little steps is just riding your bike maybe once a week to work, or eating eggs instead of just eating pork all the time. Now, is that going to be a little difficult? Of course. But is it feasible? It is. Is it doable? It is. That is what matters. It matters that we, as humans, do it our best and join together. It's a fight, not the individual, but it's us against climate change. My name is Ty Bakken, and I'm signing off.